Rev up your engines! All right, here we have a pretty rare vehicle, a Triumph with a V8 engine that was originally designed by Buick, but the English upped the ante and made a much better engine than what Buick did. And it's a convertible. And if you know anything about cars, if you know, you're gonna find out, it's delayed because it's TR8, unlike the TR7. Now the TR7 was the precursor to this. It had a 4-cylinder engine, and it's a really bizarre story because a lot of people looked at it and they'd say, oh, that's a Saab engine. But that's not true. Triumph actually built these 4-cylinder engines, and they built them for Saab. The English made them, and they put them in their Saab 99s. They had exclusive rights to it. And then later, Triumph decided, well, we're going to make them and put them in our own cars, and they dubbed them the TR7. It's the same shape as this car, and they called it the shape of the future. They were right in that respect that the angular, lower front, higher back to make them aerodynamic was the wave of the future. But unfortunately, it weren't any English cars that made it into the future. TR7s were legendary, overheating engines, poor quality construction. And with that little bitty 4-cylinder engine, everybody was winding the heck out of them to try to get them to get some power, and they were blowing the engines up. This is a TR8. It's got an 8-cylinder engine and has a fascinating history. Buick decided in the early 1960s they were going to make an all aluminum block, aluminum head V8 engine. They did, but it was Buick, GM. And they screwed the whole thing up. Americans didn't know anything about aluminum. My sister had one of those V8s in a little bitty compact car that they made at the time, and it kept overheating. My grandfather couldn't figure out what it was because he was an old-time mechanic. And at the time, ours had British motorcycles, so I told my grandfather, look, this is all aluminum. They didn't make it right, and the expansion and contraction doesn't work right with their stupid head gaskets, and they were forever overheating and blowing head gaskets. It was just a terrible build. The design was interesting, but the build was actually crap. So the English took that design and they built it up themselves. If you know anything about history, the British have been making aluminum motors for a really, really long time. I had Nortons, they were aluminum motorcycles, aluminum blocks, long before the Americans started to mess with it. They understand aluminum alloy technology. Now this is a 1980, so don't expect insane horsepower out of the thing. This one stock puts out 138 horsepower. But then again, realize it's a very light car. That's a lot of horsepower for a little light car considering they only made these things with 5-speed standard transmissions. No automatics. This particular one's got the Bosch Jetronic fuel injection system on it, which is a very good fuel injection system. I guess the Brits and the Germans forgave World War II and started to work together, you know? Achtung, Spitfire! So this V8 engine, same one they used in years for the Rovers, British Leyland made it, and they are actually really good engines. Not insane horsepower stock, but guys supercharged them and got over 300 horsepower if they want, and they were still pretty reliable. Like I say, little light car like this, it's enough horsepower to get around because it's not just horsepower, it's torque. And the reason V8 engines were so popular were because they put out a lot of torque. Henry Ford's early V8s hardly put out any horsepower at all. But they had acceleration because they had torque to get going. With a gasoline car, it's really more important with a V8 to have a lot of torque than ultimate horsepower because, you know, this is not an actual race car. It's a fun car to drive around in. Now, it's a great vehicle to take out to the beach. There's no arguing that. Here we come. Maybe a bit chilly, but hey, it's an English car. So let's see what this thing can do. You can feel it. And it does have that nice V8 sound and a whirring English transmission. It's a fun little car. The British touted it as the shape of things to come. The shape stayed, but British Leyland did not. But if you're thinking about buying one, don't get one that has Stromberg carburetors on it or the early mechanical fuel injection, because that was just a rat's nest of disasters. Now, if you look at one of these, understand one thing. British vehicles and rust go together. They rust like mad. This car was originally a California car, later was sold to an older gentleman in Florida, and he bought it from the guy in Florida. So, this has not seen the northern rust. And this baby doesn't live in Rhode Island on the road in the winter. It lives in Rhode Island inside a nice garage. Looking at one, if it's all rotted out and the frame's all gone, forget it. But this thing, hey, California, Florida car, it's fine. Now, you'll see, this has 15-inch wheels. And yeah, they're a little bit tight there, but they look and handle better. The original ones were 13 inches. You get a little bit more fast acceleration with 13 inches, but man, do you lose top end. When I was young, I had a BSA, and it was one of the fastest motorcycles in the world. It was a 650 Lightning, but it had no top end. Once you got over 100 miles an hour, the thing pretty much just stayed there. But it went 0 to 100 really quick. Well, you want to tour around in America with a V8 engine, you better put bigger wheels on it. Yeah, you lose a little bit of the acceleration, but it's going to last longer, and you're going to get a better driving experience, especially corner and handling, than the original tiny tires that they put on. Let's listen to that engine. One, it's super quiet. Realize it's a pushrod engine. The old V8 rumble. But in an English car, it was a Buick engine, but it was redesigned by British Leyland, and they really upped the ante. Now, they stopped using them after a few years because, of course, these are pushrod engines. The horsepower that that particular design puts out is still relatively minimal. They stopped using BMW V8s, overhead cam engines, much more modern technology. But, on the other hand, pushrod reliability. This engine can last a long time because it's not the Buick made one with overheating problems. The English knew what to do with aluminum blocks and aluminum heads. Let's take it for a ride. Now we're in the rag top, there's the sky. And like I say, it's 138 horsepower. Not a race car, but you'll see, it's got plenty of torque. It's got a nice sound too. And I like the transmission, it makes a nice whir. Now you gotta say, it was made by British Leyland, so there's a lot of rattly plastic stuff inside, but you have to overlook that. It's a riot to drive, and with this V8 engine, a standard transmission, it's actually extremely reliable. Just understand it has a German fuel injection system. It's got a cassette player, and believe it or not, it's the original one, and it actually works! Although the driver's speaker's on its way out. Now, he does have to tweak the balance to make it work, but then again, it's an English car. Something always needs tweaking in it. But this you'll certainly appreciate in value as time goes on. He only paid $13,500 for this car, and I guarantee you the price of these things will go up. They only sold 400 of the coupes. This is a convertible, but they still only sold a few thousand of them with the V8 engines in them. And as you can see how it runs, it's a fun car. German reliability and a fuel injection system. A V8 engine that's actually an excellent V8 engine because it's not overstressed. If you're only pulling 138 ponies out of a V8, that thing can run forever. But unfortunately for Triumph and British Leyland, the shape stayed, but the car didn't. But then again, they're never going to make any more. So you get a good deal on one like this, California and then Florida with no rust on it, it's not a bad investment. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Check it out. This is a Toyota Pro Ace camper. It's cool. Now, the Pro Aces are the Japanese version of like the Toyota Siennas. They're a little bit different in size and stuff. But if somebody made a Toyota Sienna camper, I imagine they would sell the heck out of them in the United States because they're such reliable vehicles and people like them. As you can see, they even have an option where you can get the tent roof that comes up, so you got more space inside it for camping. Now, at the 2021 International Show that they had, Toyota had three of these things made to show people what it'd be like. They used the Pro Ace, which is like the Sienna, and made camper van out of it. They have showers, sink, a 40-liter refrigerator, and everybody knows how reliable the Toyota vans are, so you'd have a really reliable camper. Use it as a regular vehicle when you're not camping around. Now, the Pro Ace Verso camper starts at like $46,000 in Japan. They're not giving them away. You get quality, you're going to pay money for it, but I mean, you could actually have a vehicle that truly was a camper and then an everyday vehicle. Because people that had the American campers, you know, you have a pickup truck with a camper on top, they don't make very good everyday vehicles. They get all that weight and heavy and you're driving all that junk around. But the van is still just a van and it would handle like a van. So it would be much more convenient for using as a regular vehicle every day on top of a camper, where a truck with a camper bed on it, those things are a hassle to park, to drive, the weight shifting around, the handle, that crap. The van would be a much better idea. Now, there's no notifications if they're going to ever be making Sienna vans in the United States like that. I'm sure people will do it themselves and convert them, but if they wanted to make some money selling vans, it would be a good thing for Toyota to have a company do a bunch of them, and they would probably sell the heck out of them in the United States. A versatile van that you could also camp in and use it for everything else and then go camping when you wanted to. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.